So for today's video, we're just going to be doing something rather simple. Some NHL teams have some really good forwards, and other NHL teams have really good defenders. We're going to see which NHL's teams' forwards and defensemen are going to excel in each other's positions, meaning that we're going to take the top 6 forwards from every NHL team, as well as all 6 of their roster defensemen, and switching their roles. And we're going to be doing this for every 5-on-5 line, and the power play, and penalty kill, and all the extra attackers, and the 3v3 overtime. Oh, and the shootout too. Yeah, we switched everything. So we're going to be doing a little bit of an experiment to see which NHL teams' forwards are going to excel on defense and which NHL teams' defense are going to excel on forward roles. So if you guys don't mind, make sure to go down to that thumbs up button down below. Make sure to hit subscribe if you guys are brand new to the channel. Also, make sure to go check out intotheam.com. Use code BOJO for 10% off your entire order. Now, this video took a hell of a lot of time to actually prepare because I had to edit every single NHL team, and all of the players had to basically switch them up and edit them up in the lines so that they're going to be playing where they need to be. Now, let me give you guys a little preview of what you are going to be expecting on every single NHL team. Let's just pick a random team right here. We'll just go with the Minnesota Wild to show you guys the example. So, as you can see, Ryan Suter, Jared Spurgeon, Matthew Dumba, Greg Patarin, Jonas Brodin, and Nate Prosser. With the newest roster update, they're the 6 defenders that the game has set into their lineup, and we have placed them throughout the starting lineup. And as you guys will see, with every NHL team, all of their defensemen are now playing in the top 6 forward roles for all of the NHL teams. As for who I decided to play on the center position, I basically just took a look at their defensive stats, and whichever player had the best face-offs, they are going to be playing the middle. So for instance, Brady Shea's going to be playing the middle, and then for the second line, it was either going to be Neil Pionk or Tony DeAngelo, who was going to be playing center for the Rangers. And like I said, it's for every single NHL team down the line. All defenders are playing offense. Same goes for defense. As you can see, Tampa Bay, Steven Stamkos, Nikita Kucherov are the top 2 pairing defensemen for Tampa, while Braden Point and JT Miller are the second pair. Yanni Gourde and Andre Palat are the third pair. So that, once again, that's for every single NHL team that you guys will see. All top 6 players in the forward roles for each NHL team are playing defense. And like I said, that didn't stop there. We went ahead and furthered this experimental test because we have done it for every single special team and every other lineup that you can make in this game. For the power play, all 6 defensemen are going to be playing forwards, and then I basically just took like the 4 best forwards to play the points. Penalty kills, same type of deal. 3-man penalty kill was a little bit more kind of more complex because I actually had to create most of the 3-man penalty kills for all of the NHL teams. So as you can see, you'll see some different players, some different forwards playing some roles in the penalty kills. As you guys will see, I basically just tried to take the best defensive player or a defensive player to fill out these roles for each and all of these teams. So like I said, I basically just did this with every team. Extra attackers, the same type of deal. For most of the NHL teams for the 3-on-3 overtime, most of them did have 2 forwards, one of the forwards playing defense anyway, so that kind of just helped out in the editing process. I basically just left most of the forward lineups for the 3-on-3 overtime, but just switched the defenseman so that he's playing the center position. And then goaltenders, obviously I did not touch. Every team is still going to have the auto-rotate goaltenders and their starting goaltender in net. And then for the shootouts, every team has all the 5 best defenders on their team going to be taking the shots in the shootout. So it'll be interesting to see which teams are going to excel in shootouts when their defenders are going to be in there. Let's see which NHL teams are going to have the best point totals. The point totals this year I think are going to be very, very interesting. I will be honestly surprised if some forwards will still make it into the top 10 for point totals with the lineups that we have for most of these teams. So let's start simming here. I'm going to follow my Philadelphia Flyers more than likely just because obviously they're my favorite team. So we'll follow the Flyers and see how they do. But let's go to the halfway point of the season for every single team. So 41 games in, And let's see what the point totals are going to be looking like for all these teams. All right, guys, so we have hit roughly the halfway point of this NHL season with the forwards and defensemen is flipped for every single NHL team. So let's take a look at each division and see which teams are excelling so far. So in the Pacific Division, you got the Anaheim Ducks, San Jose Sharks, and Arizona Coyotes up at the top of the division, with Vegas and the LA Kings right there in 4th and 5th. Vancouver, Edmonton, and Calgary are in the bottom dollars there in the Pacific. So Connor McDavid playing defense doesn't really seem to be helping all too much for Edmonton. Obviously, they're missing a huge part of their offense, and Edmonton's defense is not great, but doesn't look like McDavid nor Draisaitl is helping out that team at all. But Anaheim is up near the top of the list, which I'm not really all too surprised by that. San Jose, I expected them to probably be one of the better teams in this season test because they have Erik Karlsson and Brett Burns playing together on the same line as they would be in the game playing defense. So that's interesting. And then San Jose, the Arizona Coyotes are up here as well, which is very interesting to note. I guess Oliver Ekman-Larsson might be having a pretty decent season. So that's what the Pacific looks like. In the Central, we got Nashville. You have Nashville arguably has one of the best defenses in the entire NHL, and it is proving right in the game. 32-9-2. That might be probably the best record in the NHL right now in the sim, so that's pretty good. Winnipeg also has a pretty decent record, 27-12. Colorado 22-15, so they're up there as well. Minnesota, decent record as well, 21-15. Dallas around 500. Chicago definitely near the bottom, and then the St. Louis Blues are above 500. They have probably played the least amount of games. They're 17-16-6, but they're still down at the bottom of the Central. Not by many points, though, and they got a lot of games in hand on most of these teams, so they have plenty of time to catch up. So that's what the Central looks like. The Atlantic, all right. Toronto, I guess throw Austin Matthews back there on defense and see what happens. It seems to work out well for Toronto, so they're 26-11-4. Boston's up there, 22-16. Detroit, 21-17-6. That's a very interesting interesting team to see up there. Montreal, okay. Florida is above 500. Tampa's struggling a little bit, 21-20-1. I would definitely have thought Tampa might have been playing a little bit better than that. Kind of surprising. Buffalo down near the bottom, and then Ottawa. Ottawa. Even if you were to switch the forwards, the defenders back for that team, I don't think there's any hope saving them in the sim. And then for the Metro, Philly's doing good. Philly and Pittsburgh are doing pretty good. The Devils are not doing too bad. Washington with a decent record, and the Rangers as well, decent record. And then Columbus, Carolina, and the Islanders. Oof, New York Islanders only 23 points in 40 games. They are having a very bad year, 10-27-3. Yeesh. All right, so let's just take a look at the team stats once again for goals for on the year. Let's see which team is leading goals for. So Philly is the top team in the league right now for goals for at a 3.37. So Shane Gostisbehere, Ivan Provorov probably pulling the weight right now on defense for Philly, so that's not bad. Nashville, Toronto are only 3 teams above a 3.0 goals for average. And then goals against per game, I would think that a lot of teams are going to be very, very defensive. Goals against per game, Arizona is leading that category at a 2.1. A lot of teams in that like 2.3, 2.4 range, which actually is not terrible at all. 2.5, that's, you know, it's a little bit sketchy. The highest in the league is honestly 3.22, and that's held by the Vancouver Canucks. It's not a terrible goals against per game, to be honest. I've seen worse in, you know, general franchise modes that I've watched and done. It could be a hell of a lot worse. All right, and let's take a look at power play percentages. So Florida has the best power play in the league right now at a 25.4%. A lot of teams over 20% on the power play. That's really, really interesting as well to note. Lowest power play, I think, was like 10% held by Detroit. Yeah, that kind of makes sense. The Detroit Red Wings, I really don't think have any other really great offensive defensemen on their team other than Mike Green. So that kind of makes sense. A lot of other teams down here near the bottom. Edmonton, once again, still kind of shocks me a bit that they're that low. So that's what the power play looks like. Florida has the best one there. And then penalty kill. Florida had the best power play, but it looked like they might have the worst penalty kill. They have one of the worst penalty kills. So penalty kills, 75%, 75.2 held by the New York Rangers. That's one of the worst. The best power play, though, Philadelphia, 90.2%. Penalty kills percentage, sorry. So penalty kill percentage, Philly has the best in the league at a 90.2. That's pretty damn good. Still a lot of teams over 85%. If you have an over 85% penalty kill, it's still pretty decent. And like I said, lowest was like 75. All right, so let's go take a look at the point totals now for the entire league, and let's see who is actually leading each individual category here at roughly the halfway mark. Now it's going to be interesting because when we're looking at forwards, we're technically looking at defensemen, and when we're looking at defensemen, we're technically looking at the forwards. So who's the top goal scorer right now? So Brett Burns, Dustin Byfuglien, 16, Mike Green, 16, Noah Hannafin with 15, Weber, Erik Karlsson. So a lot of defenders here. Not really getting the goal scoring done, it seems. So goal scoring is definitely coming from elsewhere on these defensemen. Assists, who has the most assists so far? PK Subban with 41. Takes a huge jump right there down to a Ghost with 31, Jake Gardiner with 30. And then all these guys all have above a 25. Point totals, as I mentioned, PK Subban, best forward so far with 55 points. Shane Gostisbehere with 45. Romeo Osu with 43. Morgan Riley with 40. Gardner. And then all these guys over here have above 35, as you'll see. Cool. So any interesting names out there? Jeff Petrie with 35 points is not terrible looking, to be honest. And pretty interesting totals there from defense, not gonna lie. Yep, somehow this doesn't surprise me at all. Ovi has one hell of a shot, so even if you put him on the top defensive unit, he's still gonna score goals. 46 points for Ovi on defense, 26 goals. That's pretty damn ridiculous. 20 assists, so he's up there. Tyler Seguin up there as well. Mike Hoffman with 19 goals. Pacioretty with 18. Wheeler. Crosby's up there with 16. Where's McDavid at? Jake Virtanen up there with 14 goals playing defense. That's really interesting. Where is Connor McDavid? He only has 8 goals. Wow, 30 points for Connor McDavid. That's pretty damn surprising, to say the least. All right, so those were goals. How about assists? Who's leading the league for assists? Sean Couturier with 33. Scheifele, Kuznetsov, 26. Malkin, Giroux, Kaner, all have 25. Any other names up there? Elias Pettersson with 23. Connor McDavid does have the assist, though, which is good. Line A, Dan Heinen up there, interesting, with 22. That's pretty interesting name up there. Any other crazy names? Nope, those guys are below 20. And then top forward for top defender, forward for points. Alexander Ovechkin and Sean Couturier both tied with 46. So that's, that's cool. Flyers, I think, are probably one of the better teams in the NHL in this sim as well, so that's interesting to note. So Couturier 46, Malkin 41, Kaner 39, Seguin and Line A both have 37, Crosby up there with 36, Tavares, and then Claude Giroux. So those are the totals right there for forwards and defensemen, inverse of each other. And then just take a look at goaltenders really quickly, even though the goaltender stats aren't really crazy all too much. Pekka leading that way. Matt Murray, Hellebuck, Brian Elliott. That would never happen in real life, as much as I would love to see it. Martin Jones, Gibson, Fleury, Ranta, and Devin Dubnyk all leading pretty much the goaltender stats. So very, very interesting to see those stat totals for sure. 55 points right now is the league lead with PK Subban, so we might as well follow the Nashville Predators for a little bit right here with 55 points. So let's finish up the rest of this sim, and let's just take a final look at the results. Alright guys, so we finally finished up the season simulation, so let's go take a final look at all those stats once again and take a look at the final results. So starting off with the Pacific Division, the San Jose Sharks, Arizona Coyotes, LA Kings, and Anaheim Ducks are all going to be making it to the playoffs. San Jose won the Pacific Division with a 47, 26, and 9 record. So San Jose, Arizona, LA, and Anaheim. That's interesting. San Jose doesn't surprise me because, like I said, Karlsson and Burns. Arizona definitely does surprise me a little bit, unless Oliver Ekman-Larsson went absolutely ham. That's very, very shocking that Arizona did that well. The LA Kings, that kind of makes sense. Quick is a good goaltender. Drew Doughty on offense would be interesting to see. And then Anaheim just kind of has a very, very good mix. Vegas, Calgary, Vancouver, and Edmonton finished dead last in the Pacific. Central Division, we got the Nashville Predators at 108 points. Winnipeg, Colorado, and the Minnesota Wild. Dallas, St. Louis, and Chicago on the outside looking in. But everybody in the Central Division finished, either 500 or above if you don't really count the overtime losses. St. Louis had 13 overtime losses. That's pretty crazy. But Nashville, like I said, probably best defense in the entire league, so that makes sense. Winnipeg, yeah, I guess I could see Winnipeg. They got a bunch of really good younger defensemen, plus Byfuglien as well, played forward. Colorado, kind of makes sense. McKinnon, Landeskog, Rantanen playing defense for that team is probably scary as all heck. And Minnesota, yeah, I guess I could see that potentially. You got a lot of really good, like, defensive-minded players on Minnesota, so I could see them keeping the puck out of the net a decent amount. As we go to the Atlantic, we got Florida, Toronto, Detroit, and Boston. I don't know, that's a little bit weird to me that Detroit made the playoffs. Toronto, that doesn't surprise me. Florida, I felt like when I was editing the lines, Florida had, like, one of the most, like, balanced kind of teams when I was creating their lineup, so it doesn't surprise me at all for Florida that they did that well. Boston was good. Tampa didn't make the playoffs. Wow. That's really, really shocking to me. Tampa probably had arguably one of the better defenses and probably the best, like, top 6 in the game right now, and they missed the playoffs. So no playoffs for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Montreal, Buffalo, and Ottawa are also out. Ottawa only had 58 points. Ripperonis. And then as we take a look at the Metro, Philly missed the playoffs. Wow. They were like one of the top teams in the NHL, and they ended up missing the playoffs. Holy crap. Washington from out of nowhere. Pittsburgh, the New York Rangers, and the New Jersey Devils all make the playoffs. Wow. Philadelphia. Philly on the outside looking in. Philly collapsed. That's pretty crazy. Islanders, Carolina, and Columbus are also going to be sending this one out. But a lot of teams with, you know, decent records that I'm seeing throughout the league. All right. Let's take a look at just goals for per game. Worst and best. Best was Washington, 3.11. Worst was the Islanders at 1.98. Goals against per game. Best was held by the Boston Bruins and the San Jose Sharks at 2.26. Worst in the league, the Ottawa Senators at that 3.37. Them and the Vancouver Canucks, only teams in the above 3 goals against per game range. Power play, best power play in the league went to the Washington Capitals. No surprise there, 24.9%. Worst goes to the Columbus Blue Jackets at 10.7%. And then the penalty kill, best in the league, went to the San Jose Sharks and the Buffalo Sabres, both at 86.8% on the penalty kill. And the worst in the league was Pittsburgh and New York Rangers, both at 77.2%. and 77.3%. All right, so we're going to start off with defensemen, aka the forwards, and PK Subban was the leading forward getter this year. 81 points for him, almost a point per game player for PK Subban if you put him on forward. So Nashville, if you're looking to improve your offense, I know you got a stacked defensive core, but might want to try to move PK Subban out there. So pretty nice. Let's take a look for goals. Top goal scorer was Dustin Byfuglien with a 32 goal season, not bad. Justin Falk up there with 29. Brett Burns 27, Krug and Doughty and Carlson all had 25. Sergachev, Subban 24, and then Ben Hutton with 23 goals for him. Not bad, Ben Hutton. Any other names really shining out there? Nate Schmidt had 22. Michael Matheson with 21. Ryan McDonough had 20, and then that's Michael Stone with 20. A lot of 20 goal scorers, which is cool. And then Seth Jones there at 19. Okay, so very interesting there. A couple of interesting things. Ben Hutton, for one, is very, very interesting. Assists, PK Subban had 57, Carlson, Riley, Fowler, Hedman, Gostisbehere, Doughty, Gardner, Ristolainen. Any interesting names up here? Once again, Jeff Petrie, 45, Charlie McAvoy, 45. We'll just go till we get to like 40. Once we get past 20, Oliver Ekman-Larsson definitely helped the Coyotes out, 62 points for him. Matt Niskanen with 42 assists as well, very, very interesting. Dmitry Orlov with 40 assists. And, okay, cool. And then, like I said, point totals for the entire forward core. Like I said, PK Subban leads that with 81. Carlson, 76. Dustin Byfuglien with 74. Doughty and Riley both at 72. Burns and Carlson had the exact same amount of points. So that's 142 points coming from both Burns and Carlson on the top pair in San Jose. Hedman had above 70, and Shane Gostisbehere with 69 points. Nice. Okay, and then if we take a look for forwards, my God, Ovi, you're an absolute animal. Alexander Ovechkin playing defense is like new meta for this game, apparently. 47 goals, 52 assists, 99 points for Ovi, plus 51 on the year. My God, Ovi, that's crazy. You're playing defense and you're hammering off goals like that. Like I said, Ovi's shot is so good, so if you're just hammering him point shots, like, that's like crazy. You know how good, like, how Ovi has his spot, like, on the power play, that, you know, in the high slot area near the faceoff dot for those one-timers and stuff like that. Imagine him shooting, like, point shot after point shot and, like, one-time clappers from the defensive, you know, position all the time. That's, like, scary, but crazy, dude, that Ovi had 47 goals. Nobody was even close to him. Tyler Seguin had 34. And then Corey Perry had 32. No other forwards had above 30 goals. Kaner, Hall, Kovalchuk, Hoffman, Crosby, Malkin, Pacioretty, Draisaitl are the only guys above 25 goals on the year. So that's that. Assists leader was once again Ovi, Kuznetsov. Yeah, that's a dynamic duo for sure. Couturier had 48 assists. Matthews, Scheifele, Kane, Huberdeau, Ben, Sagan. So all these guys up here had above 40. Pettersson missed out by 1. And then point totals, like I said, Ovi, 99 points is crazy. Tyler Seguin with 77. Kaner, Austin Matthews, 71. Kuznetsov. And then all these guys have above 60. No really crazy names out there other than Clayton Keller, kind of like a odd name out there, but still, that's pretty crazy though that Ovi pulled off those kind of stats. That's pretty damn ridiculous. And then just for kicks, goaltenders are right there: Murray, Rene, Hellebuck, Jones, Lundqvist, Tolpe, Luongo, Vasilevsky, Quick, Elliott, Ronta, Borowski. So there's all the goaltender stats in case you guys are interested in that. So through NHL 19, switching up the forwards and defense, this is what the game believes the outcome would be for the playoffs. So you have Winnipeg versus Colorado, Nashville versus Minnesota, Arizona versus LA, and San Jose versus Anaheim in the West. And then in the East, you got Pittsburgh versus the Rangers, Washington versus Boston, Toronto versus Detroit, and then Florida versus New Jersey. Alright, so the playoffs have indeed ended, and as you guys can see, the Boston Bruins are the Stanley Cup champions here in the NHL 19 simulation. Season mode is now complete. That's cool, so we can't obviously simulate anywhere past this date, but let's go over here and just take a look at the point totals, and then we can take a look at the awards. So I'll show you guys the playoff tree here first. So in the finals, it was Nashville and Anaheim versus Toronto and Boston. So Boston beat Toronto in 6, Anaheim beat Nashville in 5, and then Boston handed Anaheim an L in only 5 games it took. So Boston kind of ran their way through the playoffs. They didn't lose any to Washington, so Washington was out first round. They only lost 1 game to Pittsburgh, 2 to Toronto, 1 to Anaheim. So they only lost 4 games total in the entire run, going 16-4, so not a bad run there for the Boston Bruins. So the point totals for the entire league for the playoffs: Cam Fowler led the playoffs lead here with 16 points in 23 games. Brad Marchand was right behind him, 15. Johnny T had 13, McAvoy 12, Brandon Montour with 12, Matthews, Pastrnak, Carlo with 11, Rickard Rakell 11, and then Ekman Larson, Lindholm, Malkin, Zdeno Chara, John Moore, Getzlaf all had above 10 points. Ben Street with 9 points for Anaheim as well, 5 goals. Very, very interesting. Goal leader was Charlie McAvoy and Oliver Ekman Larson. Assist leaders were Cam Fowler and Brad Marchand. So those were the playoff point totals, but now comes the very, very interesting part to see which players won which awards this year. It's going to be, I'm hoping to see some pretty outrageous names for winners of these trophies. So Boston wins the Stanley Cup here, as you guys could see. Nashville won the President's Trophy, and then it was Anaheim versus Boston in the finals of this sim. So player awards: Art Ross still went to Alexander Ovechkin. Still scored crazy amount of goals as a defender on this team, so he still wins the Art Ross. Hart Memorial also goes to Alexander Ovechkin, so MVP of the team. PK Subban did win the James Norris Memorial Trophy, so they still award it to defensemen even though they're playing forward. So PK Subban technically wins the James Norris. So I was hoping to see a forward name there, but I guess that's not technically how it works. It goes by position, so you know, I expect that. Lady Byng goes to Shane Gostisbehere, so the best sportsman generally conduct award. So Shane Gostisbehere won the Lady Byng. Calder went to Elias Pettersson. Conn Smythe, Tuukka Rask. Vezina went to Martin Jones. William and Jennings, Martin Jones. Bill Masterton went to Mika Zibanejad. And then Frank J. Selke also goes to Mika Zibanejad. Wow, so Mika Zibanejad playing on defense wins the Selke. That's a very, very interesting name I did not see coming at all. Let me know if you guys have ever seen Mika Zibanejad win the Selke trophy, but damn. So Mika Zibanejad is a brand new name that up there for sure. He wins the Selke. Ovi wins the Ted Lindsay. Ovi wins the Maurice Richard. So Ovechkin still had a monster year on defense. He walked away with the Richard, the Ted Lindsay, the Hart, and the Art Ross. So he still walked away with 4 trophies, but that's a very, very interesting name in there for sure. I've never seen Ghost come up before, so got the Lady Byng. Norris still went to Subban. And then Mika Zibanejad winning the Bill Masterton and the Frank J. Selke trophies. Very, very two interesting names pop up. I actually kind of want to look. Only had 23 points on the year, 8 goals, 15 assists, 23 points, a -5. -5 player won the Selke, guys. -5 player won the Selke trophy with 54 penalty minutes. Interesting. So that'll pretty much do it for this video, guys. As you can see, some pretty interesting totals that we saw from switching forwards to defense and defense to forwards for every single NHL team, for every single like lineup, power plays, penalty kills, everything of the sort. We still saw Alexander Ovechkin have a monster year. You saw Mika Zibanejad win the Frank J. Selke with a -5 plus-minus and only 20 points on the year and like 50 some penalty minutes, which is always interesting. Boston Bruins won the Stanley Cup. And you saw a couple interesting teams make it into the playoffs with some very interesting lineups for sure. Can I still edit lines, or no? I guess I can't edit lines anymore. I would have liked to edit lines and show you guys like the final lineups for each of the teams, but obviously you guys can figure that out for yourself. So very interesting test nonetheless, and the Bruins are the Stanley Cup champions. So thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave the thumbs up down below on this video. For the next video that I plan to do with like switching players around, we switched players this time for this video, but next video I'm thinking we're gonna swap it. And yes, there is a difference between switching players and swapping players. I'll let you guys know what I have in store, hopefully very, very soon. But other than that, thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you next time. Peace.